Welcome to Tantrum House. I'm Kevin Delp.
And I'm Melissa Delp.
Today we're talking about Legendary Creatures. It's a 2 to 4 player game that is hand management and track advancement by Pencil First Games and is coming to Kickstarter July 11th.
In Legendary Creatures, the players are apprentices that are competing to become the next druid. As you go through the trial of nature's grace, you'll be equipped with spells and a group of amazing creatures that have magical energy and unique abilities. Whoever can advance the farthest in the elemental realms and gain the most renown will win and become the next druid.
Here are some of the prototype components. The boards for each elemental realm, the vast expanse, the expedition, and the turn order. Each player has a board and tokens to track their resources, familiars that travel in the realms, and a deck of creatures and spells. There are also some wild creatures and other cardboard tokens for renown points, amulets, landmarks, and elemental gifts.
The game is divided into 3 days with 3 rounds in each day, and then in each round there are several phases. The first phase is planning, and players do this simultaneously. You'll draw 4 cards from your creature deck and secretly program the order you'll play them in. One of the 4 creatures is set aside for the expedition that will happen at the end of the day. Then everyone reveals the 3 cards they programmed, and turn order is determined by looking at the magical power of each player's first creature. Players are ordered from highest magic power to lowest.
The second phase is the spell phase, and it's performed in turn order. You can choose to use as many of your spells as you want, but you won't get them back until the next day, so you might not want to use them all on round 1. Well-timed spells can really help your game.
The third phase is the action phase. This is where you actually use your creatures, and each player will complete all their actions before the next player goes. For each creature, you can choose to use it to gain magic, or you can use its special abilities. These might be gaining resources for a certain element, or taking a special action.
You really need magic and elemental orbs to move your familiars up the tracks on the elemental realms. Each space takes a certain amount of resources, but just because you have a bunch of resources doesn't mean you'll be able to move all of your familiars. Before you take your actions, you have to invoke one of their realms. Unless you have the Gift of Air or another special ability, you can only move your one familiar in the invoked realm during that realm.
The realm you invoke also affects your creatures. If you gain magic, elemental orbs, or renown from a creature that matches the invoked realm, you'll produce 1 extra.
Each player's starting deck contains the same creatures, but during the game, you can choose to dismiss a creature before you use its action and then befriend a new one from the vast expanse. The old creature is basically trashed, and you get to use the new creature immediately.
At the end of each round, you'll discard the creatures that you've used and draw 4 new cards. At the end of the day, after you've completed the expedition, you will have gone through your entire deck, so you'll reshuffle at the beginning of each day. So if you get a powerful creature in day 1, you'll get to use it 2 more times.
There's a lot of other things going on in the game, like spells and amulets and expedition rewards and special gifts for leading in the different realms. So there's a lot to think about and decide. So during your first couple games, it might take a little longer between players' turns, so you could use the optional rules and just do 2 days instead of 3.
Yeah, Legendary Creatures is definitely a heavier, thinkier game than the games Pencil First has published previously, so don't go into it thinking it's a light filler. But I would say it's not overly complicated either. The things you have to do and the steps you have to take to do well, they make sense within the game.
This game has great presence on the table. The illustrations of the creatures are colorful and whimsical, and the meeples for the familiars are unique. Who wouldn't want to play a flying llama? And they're only prototype components. Ed was able to show us even better familiars when we were at Origins Game Fair.
I enjoy having meaningful decisions to make in games, and I think that there are interesting choices in this one. Things like, which creatures should I use in what order, and which of their powers should I use? Which spells and when to use them, or when to upgrade to a new creature and get rid of one that I already have, or which realm to evoke. all of those choices are going to impact how efficient I can be on my turns.
There's also some interaction with the spells and the special abilities with the creatures, so if you can determine what other players are going to do, you can really maximize your benefits. So if you enjoy games with interesting themes, multi-use cards, maximizing your resources and actions, and playing those creative creature meeples, then I would check out Legendary Creatures on Kickstarter.